Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum class. This is Umaira Said, lecturer, English Times Institute, and today we are going to study interview, the lecture number 4 of communication skills. So there is a myth which is associated with the interview, that interview is particularly associated with the job. All the students, this is a very right thing, that sometimes after completing our studies, the next level which we have to move towards is to search for a good job, and later on we have to write down the application, drop the solicited and unsolicited application, and then wait for the job call, and then they call for us, and then we prepare that how to get ourselves prepared for the interview. So during this session we will discuss the topics like interview, the types of interview, what should we do for an interview, how to prepare ourselves, what are the do's and the don'ts of interviews, types of interviews, and the later on which are the most expected questions of an interview. So this will be the agenda for the today's session. Keep your pencils and the paper in your hand to note down the important points, and your assignment for the particular topic will be sent in your WhatsApp group. So stay tuned and stay connected with your CR and GRs for the recent updates. So as we are discussing that a myth is associated with an interview, so let's discuss the origin. My dear students, the interview is derived from the French word which is interview. Interview means to get a glimpse of, to interact. Aristotle once said that it is a kind of a communication in which we get immediate feedback. Yes, it is. So for the business communication and for those who are dealing with the communication skills, it is important to know that interview is a kind of informal communication. And now you will be amazed that how ma'am is saying that it is informal communication while we sit so formal while giving the interview, but yes, it is informal. Like, let me give you an example. So first time when you interact with many of your fellows at times class, you interviewed each other, like asking about their names, about the qualifications, about the family backgrounds, and then you become friends. So it means that interview is just to get an interaction, like before talking to each other, it is only an interview, a smallest, a tiny interview which interact two person with each other, and you come close. The more you get an interview of each other, the more close you become. I know that while traveling from the Davao, most of the time near my seats, most of the girls sit and we start talking each other by asking each other names, and by knowing each other, and gradually we know each other, we reached at our destination. So interview and interaction is some kind of develop a familiarity with each other. My students, politicians are being interviewed, celebrities are interviewed, like in your daily life you interview so many. I just know that when first time I entered in your class, many of the students bombarded so many questions on me. So it was an interview. So the interview is clear, that interview is just to get an interaction, to get familiarity, just to get a glimpse with each other. So it is an interview. The next most important thing is that what are the types of interview. There are better two types of interview. Number one is structured. Write down structured interview, and the number two is unstructured. In structured interview, most of the companies, institutes, organizations set a questions list and they asked number of the candidates to evaluate them. The more this candidate is confident, have the power of words, have knowledge of subject about the position for which he or she applied, he will pass that level. So this is the structured interview. It is the most common type and it is most successful to evaluate and scale a candidate. Unstructured interview. Unstructured interview is open-ended questions are being asked from the candidate, and it is the candidate. If you jump and give exaggerations to your answer, definitely you will be caught by your interviewer. So, mostly throughout the lecture I will repeatedly use two words, interviewer and interviewee. Interviewer is a person who interviewed. Suppose I am interviewing you, so I am an interviewer, and interviewee is a person or the candidate who is being interviewed. I am asking questions from you, you are answering me, I am interviewer and you are interviewer. So, this words will be repeatedly used. Unstructured, try to give the shortest answer to the given question in interview. If you exaggerate, definitely you will speak some irrelevant things in it and it will be very much danger for you. It will be put you in danger because they will caught you and then they will ask the different questions which are not relevant, and then the interview not only prolonged, but you will be judged as well because you will lose your confidence. The questions will take another shape. Unstructured interview are generally asked in in army or some professional colleges, sometimes with the teachers, because sometimes when we go for interview and giving the demonstration, the teachers sometimes exaggerate and prolong their answers and the interviewers caught them. So, unstructured interview considered to be the most difficult form. Now, moving to the types of interviews which are very important. Write down the number one type is face to face. My dear student, face to face interview is very common wherever you go after passing your degree or having a degree in your hand. When you move for an interview, that will be the face to face. Sometimes there are two persons who are interviewer and one is the interview, and they ask you about your family background. Sometimes they just ask you about yourself, sometimes they ask you about your professional qualification, your experiences. If you are fresh graduates, they will ask you some limited question, but if you have an experience more than they require, then their questions limitations can exceed and they may ask you the different questions. So, you must get ready after completing your degree that you have to pass through all these levels. So, this is the face to face interview. Face to face interview is good because you get your feedback from your interviewer, either he is satisfied or not, or sometimes you may judge their gestures that they are happy, then you will be selected. The second most important type of interview is the group interview. Those students who are aspirants of being an army officer, who are aspirant of being a CSS aspirants they have to face this group interview. In the group interview, 4 and the 5 candidates just sit in the group. They give you a question and then you start answering of those questions in group, and they check your confidence level, your patience level, that how much patience you have to listen to others. If you are on the point 1, then you have to justify the point 1. If you are on the point 2, you have to justify the point 2, but you have to stand on your points, but either you are right or you are wrong. In ISSB and CSS, these type of interviews are very common, and they used to arrange the group interview. The third most important types of the interview is sequential interview. Sequential interview, it means that the series of interviews being conducted. So, after completing your degree, if you go for being a lecturer, or if you join some telecom sector, or if you join some agri sector, so you have to go through this sequential interviews. Some of the interviews may conducted at a very minor level, at some line manager level, then the senior manager, then at the director, and then the CEO, and then you will be selected, your salary package will be decided. So, sequential interviews sometimes become difficult. Favoritism is involved in the sequential interview. Sometimes you are favorite at the minor level, but at the higher management you do not become very much favorite. So, that is why there must be avoidance of the sequential interview. The next most important type of the interview is panel interview. Student, panel interview is now very common in the banks, in CSS, for PPSC, for FPSC, and for appointment in the university or in the Times Institute or some many other major university. There is a panel which arrange an interview. The panel consists of 5 to 8 persons, but it consists of majorly 5 persons. The 2 are the subject specialists, the 2 are the psychiatrists, 1 is the person who like chair the whole group, and they ask you the major questions about your subject. There will be the bombardment of question, and sometimes terminology which I have invented. You know, I invent number of terminologies just for the convenience of you students. I called this group interview or the panel interview the 5D interview. You know, 5D interview. From the 5 dimensions you are being scaling, and they are judging you from the different directions. They are asking you questions from the different types. Once I went out for an interview of Al Huda International, where I worked as an assistant manager as well. So there was 5%. They were asking me different questions, and these questions were are so minor. Well, these questions were so easy, but because they were trying to confuse me, but your self confidence and your preparation for interview and your grip over your knowledge matters a lot at that time, because they are trying to putting you under the stress to check you that how much ability and capability you have to work under the stress and the pressure. So you will face the same situations after completing your degree. The next interview type is the exit interview. I must say it very firmly that exit interview is uncommon in Pakistan, but in the European countries, when one person leaves the job, the company he is leaving, that company arranged an exit interview to know the reasons that why the person is leaving the job, what are the reasons, what are the is there any problem, like is there any sexual harassment, or he is unhappy with the boss about the work or about the HR policy. So they may amend their contracts or amend their policies. So exit interview is very important in European country, but I haven't observed any exit interview in Pakistan yet, but maybe they have been practicing it, because in the educational sector it is not been practiced, maybe in the FMCG group or in the telecom sector, but when I get an information that it is being practiced in Pakistan, I will let you know. The last type is, I must not say last, there are multiple types, but we will focus more on these 5 to 6 types. Auditions. But audition is particularly for the, you may say, for the entertainment industry, where you have to be more graceful and more have a beauty. You must have a more beautiful smile, and they must check you that how do you look on screen. Either you look beautiful or you look ugly. How much your facial postures or the gestures looks. How can you be trained in the acting? Are you a good actor? What is your voice pitch and the voice quality is? So it is particularly for the entertainment industry, while in the educational sector and many other sectors, these auditions can never be arranged. The last type is very important for those who are aspirants of being the lecturer. So that is the demonstration. It is a 7th type, and I must say that it is a demonstration. When you applied after completing your degree, applied for a teaching in any of the institute, maybe in college or some institutes, they will arrange a demonstration. You will be said to prepare a topic. You will prepare that topic, present in front of the teachers. You will be asked number of the questions about your subject and how you will be scaled on the basis of your knowledge, how much you are using the whiteboard, what is your postures, how would you interact with the students, how many types of the questions you can easily be catered, and how your presence matters in the class, how would you like handle the class of 100 to 80 students. So all these matters in the demonstration. So this is the most important for you to know that how the teachers been selected. So it is not been easy to have a teacher as you think. So demonstration is just to scale the teacher's level. So now the most important thing which is to be discussed, that is how to prepare yourself before an interview. A night before an interview, you have to get ready, boost up yourself, maintain your confidence, just close your eyes and think that you are the best. Then before going for an interview in an institution or an organization, you must have a complete knowledge about the institute, about the organization, about the history of an organization. You must have a complete idea that what are the responsibilities and the duties, the positions you are applying for. If you are fresh graduates, it's okay, your questions will be not that much arduous, but if you are experienced candidate, your questions will be more articulate, more complex and more complicated. So, the interview is not an easy job, it is considered to be the much naughty thing, and you have to be very much careful while appearing in an interview. So, what are the do's and don'ts of an interview? Do's: dress up good, formal. You cannot go wearing half pants, wearing sneakers, that is not allowed. You must dress formal, like you may wear some good clothes which suits you. Well, the jeans is not allowed, the half tees are not allowed, like the gelled hairs are allowed, but the rough hairs are not allowed. It does not mean that you have to buy new clothes from the branded shops, no, wear good ironed clothes. You must have all the photocopies and the original documents in your file. Do not carry in the shopper, just put it, arrange it in a file, then carry that good file which is easily available in market. Polish your shoes, like open sleepers are not allowed, open sandals are not allowed, with the socks wear good shoes. Arrange when you reached at the destination, when they call you for the interview, when you enter, do greet everyone who is sitting, or generally greet either saying good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, that is not allowed, just say good assalamu alaikum or good morning to everyone, that will be okay. While sitting on the chair, do not drag the chair, just pull the chair little and then sit on the chair. Sit so relaxed, never start staring at the chairman or the people around, or never start looking like here, there, upside and down, and never start rubbing your hand or itching your head, that is not allowed while in an interview room. So, do not shake your hand, or sometimes most of the people have a habit of taking their ball pen. So, taking of the ball pen is not allowed. You have to be very relaxed on your chair by keeping your hands like this, like by this or this, that is not allowed in the interview room. When you speaking or start answering the question, like look into the eyes of the interviewer, but do not look like this, that he began to become so much that why this person is looking at me like this. Be normal. Never ask for the water again and again, because it means that you are getting confused, and never show your confusion to your interviewer. So, these are the do's and the don'ts of your interview. I think that you really enjoy this, but yes bete, these are some precautionary measures you must know. Now, what are the expected questions they ask you? Like it is very new for you to go for an interview. So there are few questions they generally ask, and the questions are, tell us about yourself. So, this is the introduction. So, beta, introduction is very important. What elements you should include and what are the main parts? You may start with your name, your father name, your professional qualification, your experience, if any have. If you don't have any experience, then tell them very straight that I am a fresh graduate, then it's okay. Do not include what is your caste, your religion, how many brothers and sisters you are, and where you are living nowadays, until unless they ask you. So, your introduction consists of 2 or 3 things only. Then they ask you that how do you evaluate success? It means that what is the meaning of success to you? So, now this is a very comprehensive answer, and you must know. Rather thinking like this or sorry sir, that is not allowed. You must know that what is the success means to you, or what is the goals of your life. You must be very sure about that. Tell them a very straight answer and a very composed, as we discussed, rather than prolonging or exaggerating it. Just complete it in a half minute or like in a 2 or 3 sentences. Then they would ask you that why should we hire you? What are the qualities? Like there are sitting outside 50 more candidates. What are the qualities that this company should benefited and you should be hired in this company? Then you must tell us your good qualities, that yes, you are very punctual, you are hardworking, you can work under the stress, you have an ability, it would be your first job, so you will burn midnight oil to face all and complete your duty hours. So these are the all things which you can, or there are so many other things like which you can elaborate more better than mine. Then if you are experienced, they may ask you that why you are leaving the previous job. In the fresh graduate, they will not ask you anything. They may ask you that what is your strength and what is your weakness. You must know that which thing makes you more strength, not the body strength, consciously which make you think more strengthened and which things make you more weakened, and then your interview will be ended and they may respond you in a day or two, and sometimes they respond on the spot that yes, you are selected. So be confident. This is the only thing which I have to mention, that the confidence is the only thing which overcome and which shields you in the worst condition. So dear students, this was the lecture number 2 and today we discussed everything related with the interview. As I mentioned that your notes will be provided in your WhatsApp group. So see you with the lecture number 5. Till then, stay safe, stay home and do follow the video lectures.